All right, let's get right into it. We're going to talk about a phrase that's absolutely everywhere online, a dream that's sold to millions: passive income. But what's the real story behind that glossy sales pitch? Let's actually break it down. You've heard this a million times, right? I mean, it is the ultimate financial dream. The idea that you can just set something up, walk away, and poof, the money starts rolling in while you're on a beach somewhere, or yeah, literally while you're sleeping. It's an incredibly powerful promise. And this is where things get really, really interesting. Because that dream, it's not a total lie, but it conveniently leaves out the single most important and most difficult part of the whole equation. It's a half-truth, and honestly, it can lead a lot of well-meaning people down a really frustrating road. So let's pull back the curtain and take an honest look at what it really takes. Welcome to what I call the brutally active reality of building something that might, one day, become passive. This right here is the whole game. Before a single dollar can be called passive, there's an intense, demanding, and let's be honest, often lonely period of very, very active work. The passive part isn't the starting line, it's the finish line. And the amount of work we're talking about up front, it's just staggering. This isn't about giving up a few weekends. We're talking about writing an entire book from scratch, or building a blog when no one knows who you are, or creating a YouTube channel, which means months of scripting, learning how to edit, and constantly fighting with algorithms and SEO just to get a single view. You know, here's the part that's the toughest to swallow. All of that grind, the late nights, the creative energy, learning all these new skills, it's almost always done for an audience of, well, zero. You're basically shouting into the void with absolutely no guarantee anyone will ever listen, and you're certainly not making any money. It is pure, high-stakes risk. So now that we've laid that foundation, let's take a look at some of the most popular passive income ideas you always see being pushed, and let's hit them with a little dose of reality. Yeah, real estate. The old classic. The myth is you just buy a place and the rent checks just magically appear in your mailbox. The reality? Well, first you need a giant pile of cash just to get in the game, and then you've got leaking toilets at 2 a.m., broken furnaces, and the non-stop, very active job of managing tenants. It's a full-on business, not a magic money machine. And it's the exact same story with things like affiliate marketing or selling an online course. The myth is you just drop a link online and watch the sales pour in. But the reality is you have to spend months, sometimes years, building an audience that actually trusts you. You have to become a master at getting traffic and figuring out complicated marketing systems. If you don't do that, all the work you did creating the course amounts to, you guessed it, zero sales. Okay, you might be thinking, but what about the stock market? Surely that's passive, right? You put money in, dividends come out. And, well, you're not wrong, but the sheer scale of what's required for that to work might just blow your mind. So let's just do some quick math. Let's say your goal is to replace a pretty modest salary, say $40,000 a year. And let's assume you're getting a pretty generous 7% return on your investments each year. How much money do you think you need to have saved up and invested first to make that happen? $600,000. Almost $250,000 just to generate 40 grand a year? And this just perfectly proves the point. Stock market investing is only truly passive for people who have already done the insanely active work of earning and saving a massive amount of money. For most of us, it is not a starting point. So if it's all so hard, does that mean it's impossible? No, not at all. But it does mean you need a totally different mindset and a much more realistic strategy. So let's switch gears and look at what the actual path to financial freedom looks like. The real path, when you boil it all down, has 3 core steps. First, you have to stop chasing easy money and start building real digital assets that have value over the long haul. Second, you have to build systems that can eventually work without you. And third, and this is a big one, you have to accept the truth about how long this is all going to take. It's a marathon, people, not a sprint. So what do I mean by assets? I mean things you actually own and control. An email list, for example, is so powerful because it's your direct connection to your audience. No algorithm can take that away from you. Online products like an ebook can be sold over and over again with no extra work. And a big library of content like a blog or YouTube channel can work for you for years, bringing in new people long after you created it. Now, this is how you finally get your freedom. You use systems to buy back your own time. And this isn't just about fancy software, it's a whole mindset.
It's about creating a process for everything you do so that eventually technology or other people can run the machine that you built. The goal isn't just to make money, the goal is to remove yourself from the day-to-day grind.
And here it is, maybe the most important dose of reality in this entire conversation: the timeline. This is not a get-rich-quick thing. It's a get-rich-slow plan. You have to fully commit to being insanely active for at least 3, maybe even 5 years. That is the price you have to pay to get in. There just aren't any shortcuts.
And this timeline really puts it all in perspective, doesn't it? It's this long, intense, front-loaded period of grinding it out, learning, building, and that's followed by the potential for passive income. The reward only comes way, way after the hard work has been put in. Okay, so as we start to wrap this up, I want to leave you with one last thought about this whole industry. And fair warning, it's a bit of an uncomfortable truth. Let that one sink in for a second. Just think about it. Why do you see so many ads from gurus selling you their secret to passive income? Well, it's because selling the dream itself is the fastest way to make a buck. It preys on that very human desire for an easy path that, as we've just clearly seen, doesn't actually exist. And that's really the big takeaway here. That shortcut you're looking for, it's not real. True freedom isn't about finding some secret hack. It's about having the discipline to outwork and outsmart everyone else for a few solid years, so you can live the rest of your life on your own terms.
So at the end of the day, that's the only question that matters. Now that you know the real price of admission, now that you know about the years of active, difficult work that it requires, are you willing to do it? Your answer to that one question is going to determine everything.